start her up.
See if my headphones work.
Waiting for ReefDudes. Alright, start streaming. Start streaming, yes. And we are live. Welcome, guys, to the Wednesday night live stream. We have Mr. Nick on the line.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Nick.
Hey.
Oh. There we go.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, no, you're sounding good. We got Kyle in the chat. We got NATO. What's going on, guys? You're a little tick in there with your audio. I don't know if you're plugging in headphones or something.
I've got my stupid headphones on. Let me take them off.
Hey, Roy. Excellent. If anyone wants to jump in the Hangout today and voice chat, I'll drop the link. Hey, Sean. If anyone likes to join us for the audio conversation. If you guys can see on the background right now, I borrowed a harlequin shrimp off somebody. Hey, Tom. So I sat there for about 20-30 minutes digging around my sand bed last night to find my sand sifter so I could save them and throw them in the sump for now. Hey, John. So I got that really cool guys in my tank right now. He's going to be hunting down the little Astrea stars for the next few weeks for me. Hopefully clear them out. It seems like I was getting a little overrun with them. One thing that's making me laugh is it's like they know he's there. I've seen all these little tiny ones along the top rim of the tank. They're like, oh, shit, the assassins come in on the side. But yeah, that little guy's been crawling around the tank. He's super interesting to watch. He's very fascinating. If he ate something in starfish, I'd definitely keep him long term, but should be fun at least for now. Alright, so far just Nick on the line. Today I was going to kind of talk about more hiding equipment and keeping a silent reef tank. For me, that's always one of my big things is I think the tank should be seen and not heard. I don't want to hear noisy pumps. I don't want to see equipment, so I try and hide and make everything as quiet and hidden as possible. Just a quick heads up, it's probably only going to be about an hour for today's live stream, just because I got a bunch of stuff I'm supposed to be doing right now, but didn't want to leave you guys hanging. Anthony, greetings from the Netherlands. How are ya? Hey, Tim's Tank, Aquarium Cabin Solutions. What's going on, guys? So the Hangout link is up there if anyone wants to scroll up and jump in. Otherwise, me and Nick on the line so far. One other quick question. Actually, I'm going to ask you guys in a bit when there's a few more on the stream. So one thing that kind of I found interesting with my tank is I've became a little bit obsessive. Sorry, quick question in this chat. Are tiny starfish good for keeping the waste clean up? They are cleaners. Most of them, AccuTV, what's going on? Most of the little starfish are good. There is a few that can potentially eat coral, so there is the odd bad one. Most of them aren't an issue. I was starting to see too many in my tank, so to me they're just starting to be a little overrun. I'm probably feeding too much because I know I do. So I decided to borrow that awesome little harlequin and throw him in for a bit. So I think he'll be a fun one to have. And they're super fascinating. I don't know if any of you guys have my Instagram, but I threw a video up on there the other day, or last night of it when I first brought it home, just in the little beaker before I added it to the tank, and it's just really cool looking shrimp. So I'll definitely probably do a video on them in the next couple weeks while I have them. Maurice Moore, welcome, welcome. So today's topic is more about keeping a silent reef tank. Now I've been a bit obsessed over making my tank quiet. I've changed everything multiple times until I've found the quietest mode possible. Even like the gyri pumps, I sit there with every single mode and every single intensity, and I find that happy medium of performance versus noise level. So that's one thing I'm working at. And the other thing that, even in the sump, I have the baffle height was too much of a waterfall, so I built some custom acrylic ones to kind of go up on the side so I can adjust the height of it, just so I could have like less than an inch drop to keep things quiet. So there's all kinds of things like that I've been doing to try and keep my tank silent. Now there's also downfalls, some to this. So if your tank is, you don't have that waterfall and all that type of stuff, you're not going to get as much oxygen in your water. So something else you got to consider. So there's other things I've done to combat that a bit, like, you know, with your protein skimmer is going to help. If you're doing nanobubbling, that's going to help. All these things inject oxygen back into the water. Nick, with your tanks,
yeah,
how do you feel? Like, do you try and keep your tanks super quiet? Do you care if they're noisy?
I think it. Yeah, I mean, it depends pretty much. Like the one I'm running at the moment, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's noisy. But when the but when the cabinet doors are shut, it's not.
Hmm.
So I have got crashing water, but that's because it's like still a new system. So I want to make sure it's well oxygenated, which takes precedence over the quietness of it. But once I know it's fully stabilized and established, then I will quieten it down.
Hmm.
So I think it depends on what stage the system at, and also like what you're trying to do with it and all that. I mean, some people aren't running bubbling, so you like you said, you have to balance things out. If you have a super quiet tank and no crashing water, but you're not compensating, for the oxygen like the trickle towers or a bubbling method, then you have to be careful.
No, that's very true. I think the bubbling definitely helps add a bunch more in. Another thing I was just reading in the comments, Anthony is saying, I have a return pump from Royal Exclusive, one of the best pumps. I have heard a lot of good things about the Royal Exclusive. I haven't actually used it myself, but they're supposed to be pretty solid and silent.
Yeah, the Red Dragon pumps.
Mm-hmm. Have you used them?
They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we supply quite a lot of those with Royal Exclusive Bubble King skimmers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can tell, like, even the controller, it's like, it's a commercial looking controller, so it's just, quality and really robust. So yeah, definitely a good pump, decent set of pumps.
AccuTV was just saying he switched to the Vectra L1 and the thing is super silent. So I used to have a Jabo, which was pretty darn quiet as it was, but I could hear a slight like kind of turbine whirly sound in it, which drove me nuts. So I eventually ended up getting the Vectra M1, which didn't have that. It was a very low sound, which you didn't even notice unless it was about 80% or above and your head was super close to it. Hey, Reef Guy 92, welcome to the chat. Yeah, so
I'm surprised about this though, Deb, because like, was it the original one or was it one of the new ones? Was it the 200 series?
For which one, sorry?
The gyro pump, you said that
Yep.
It's noisy when you turn it up. Is it the 200 series, the new one, or is it the older one series?
I've had both, I'm assuming. I did get one replaced under warranty. And it actually does seem quieter and does push more water than the original one that I had. So it was a bit of an...
Yeah, because I run a 250 on mine at the moment. It's like super quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering whether it's, the one that you have. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it could be. I'll go check it later for you, though. Sean's saying he's got a 6-foot in my room, and the loudest thing is the Radions. Yeah, those fans, if they're cranked up high, you can get fairly noisy. Now, I don't know which Radions you have, but on mine, I found that the fans kick on at 50%. So I've kept mine at around 45%, half of it just so the fans never kick on. So that's kept it dead quiet. So I don't know if you can play with this intensities, but the other option, I don't know if it's possible, but you might be able to swap it out for a quieter fan if it's an older one getting worn too. Maybe worth it. Hey Alex, you joined the chat. Welcome.
Hey, yeah, finally got here in time for one.
I know, welcome. How's your day going?
Hey Alex, how you doing?
Pretty good. So we're talking about silent aquariums today?
We are.
Stealthy machines.
Exactly.
I never go very silent. I never try.
Yeah, it's always my goal. Like I will sit on the couch and I hear anything making noise. Like that's my next piece of equipment if I figure out a way to make it quieter. Like it just drives me nuts. The funny thing was my previous return pump was the Jabo, and I from the other end of the hall I could notice it. It was a very like high pitched whirly sound. Most people couldn't hear it. Like my fiance didn't even notice it. Me, I would like hyper focus on it, drive me nuts. So it's one of those things he's got to fix.
As long as there's some water sound to drown it out, I'm okay.
See, I don't even have water sounds, and that's part of the thing, I think. So, like, I've purposely I've changed my baffles just to make less of a drop off from every stage. Like, nothing drops more than an inch to keep that down. So all these little things I've done. So I don't even have the water sound. So the equipment's what I hear the most. So Tim's saying he has the Vectra M1. It's really quiet. I have the Radions. They can be noisy at times. Which generation of Radions do you have, Tim? John, I did the mod. I did the return pump. I cut a square of the silicone that made dishes OXO grips under the pump, and a short piece of silicone goes on the nipple, the hard plumbing. Yeah, anything you can do to kill the vibration too will make a big difference.
Have you got some static there?
What's that, sorry?
Have you got some static?
That's Alex's, I think.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of static on your end. Yeah, you can come
The
in.
other thing as well, Deb, is like the frequency of the noise as well. If you've got like a noise that can be more annoying than a low hum.
Yeah, this is true. The little hums you do kind of get desensitized. Hey, Alex, I'm just gonna... If you just want to mute yourself for a sec if you're not talking, just because I am getting static from your mic. No, still there? Maybe it's you, Nick. Can you try muting for a sec? Oh, Nick, it's all you. Okay, it's gone now. No, it's gone now. Okay, it was Alex. Okay, yeah, just unmute it when you want to talk. So I did just drop the link for Aquarium Activists want to join. Can ask a question? Sure can, Matt. Ask away. Yeah, so the other thing too, one of the things I've actually looked at lighting, the other ones I previously had, I got ones that were fanless, which were dead quiet, so those are awesome. The ones with a fan, I just try and find that sweet spot before the fan kicks into overdrive. So it takes a little bit of playing with it. You can also adjust the height of your lights too to kind of affect and see how much intensity you want to have on it. Now, I don't know how you guys, so in your guys' sumps, have you guys paid attention much to the water drops and the water levels, or have you let it kind of just be wherever it lays? What's going on, Rico?
Well, in my sump tanks, I don't have any baffles, so
Oh, it's just one big chamber?
it's two tanks interconnected that are about level. So yeah, because it's such a long distance,
Mm-hmm.
I have essentially an 11-foot long sump.
Nice.
If you just took the tank end to end without the refuge.
Huh. That's alright. How do you like having it just one big kind of chamber? Yeah?
I mean, to be fair, Alex, the way Alex has got his is just one big chamber. That's
Mhm.
probably one of my favourite sump. We call it a baffleless sump design.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people can't get their heads around it because baffles originated from obviously having deep sandbeds and refugiums and then
Mm-hmm.
setting the skimmer height and things like that. But yeah, I actually like the way Alex is done it because like I use a lot of reactors and sectional stuff with pumps to run media and stuff. So for me, I don't really need baffles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to set the skimmer height, otherwise your auto top up and like auto top up will be running a long time to get a big sump to keep that right. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a good design though. What Alex has done, really simple and very effective as well.
Yeah, no, I've actually never even thought about just doing as one giant one. So that's kind of interesting.
So what do you need baffles for in your system?
You don't really.
Algae reactors and using
It,
raptors, right?
so I can keep the algae from growing in the other chambers of out of my frag rack.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent too, baffles can help a little bit with if you get a lot of bubbles from protein skimmer that are coming in and just something that you don't want during the day if you're not doing like micro bubbling.
Yeah.
It could help a little bit with eliminating that, I've heard as well.
No, that makes sense.
If we do a baffleless sump, if we do a baffleless sump, we tend to do a bubble trap before the return, but the rest of it is baffleless. So in terms of like I think the most common sump we get asked for is like a 3-chamber sump. So what I mean is that we wouldn't have 3 chambers, but we'd have a bubble stop before the return. And lose the rest of it.
Yeah, no, it's actually a good idea. I've just never considered doing a baffleless one, but that's super simple, especially on setting up a new tank to not even worry about all the chambers.
Well, the other thing, it becomes less of a worry too without baffles. If your water level drops, generally your return pump's going to be in the lowest area. So if you can lose a lot more water potentially without baffles before your return is going to get upset and start sucking air in.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. You have a lot more buffer room. Hey, have any of you guys ever used Semantic Skimmer? I haven't heard of that, but John was saying it has a silencer, but the air noise is too loud. Any hints on a suggestion? You could try doing. Depends how your silencer is built. The one on my skimmer is a single tube in the bottom, and the lid has 2 acrylic tubes going downwards around it, and it's super quiet. So you could just try building a different silencer. Depends on what design it has.
Yeah, another thing you can do as well, Dad, you know, usually it's like the whistling sound entering the tube. So if it's drawing a lot of air, it's the rushing noise of the air going in. So you know how on your ozone generator, I said to put an air stone on there to act as an air filter.
Yep.
And the skimmer directly into the skimmer silencer intake. And then that'll quiet it down as well because it's going through the air stone rather than down into the tube. So like a glass air stone, you know, like the blue ones or whatever air stone you can use.
Yep. There you go. Something to try there, John.
Hey guys.
A bit like a muffler, you know, on your microphone, and you've got the phone muffler.
Yeah, same thing.
Same principle as that.
Yep. Leia was just saying, also a new Deltic skimmer started making really loud noise like a jet engine, took it apart, and there was a stray piece of silicone in the pump. Yeah, anything in there that's getting caught with your impeller or the magnet can make it really loud.
Sometimes in production you get that, like stray bits of plastic shavings and things like that. So usually with the skimmers, what I tend to do is that's what I do. I strip out the pumps and just give them a touch out first before we use them.
Yep.
And also another thing is try and burp your pumps, like your return pumps and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean by burping them?
Yeah, like move it around to make sure you get all the air bubbles sucked out of it.
Yeah, put it under the water, run it at a low speed, and then.
Yeah,
you know,
one thing I've noticed too with a lot of magnetic pumps, you know, especially as they get longer uses, make sure when you're cleaning them that, you know, you'll sometimes get dirt on the magnet. Make sure the inside of the pump gets cleaned out well too. A lot of them will have like a little channel or something where stuff builds up, but I've seen some impellers where there's like permanent striations in the magnet, and over time it just starts making more and more noise.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
just kind of starts rattling around.
Yeah. Hey, Grim Activist, how are you?
Alright. So.
What's going on with you today?
Well, I don't know, actually. I'm just kind of chilling. I had to go to band camp again.
Yeah?
I have to do that all August.
Keeps you pretty busy?
Annoying. Yeah, it keeps me busy. It's really annoying, though.
All that time not enjoying your tank.
Acanthophila right now. This acanthophila is really blown up like a balloon. Hold up, let's see if I can see this. There's algae on the glass because these snails have been reproducing. Let's see. These white dots are all the snail egg sacs. And it's really annoying because then I don't want to kill them, but then they're all over the glass. So then there's still some film algae on the glass, so it's kind of there. But let's see. Let's see this. Okay. Hold up.
Yeah, looks pretty happy in there. Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah.
It's got a little yellow filter.
It's been doing. Yeah, it's just a yellow gel filter. I got a ton. I don't even know what colors they are. They're like. George gave them to me. Crawfish 12G. He gave me a ton of theirs. There's like a red one and an orange one.
Nice. Yeah, those make a big difference to cancel out the blues. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Cool. Matt Jones in the comments was talking about is a mandarin, but doesn't have pods right now because he didn't have somewhere to breed them. Just for feeding it mice. Mices, he said he is eating it. If you don't have any pods, definitely feed it. Try and feed it at least twice a day. And Lee was saying to breed pods in a separate container. And same thing, I have a couple like 1 gallon jars that I breed pods in. So I could easily have just a separate little thing with a bubbler in it. Just make sure you feed the pods lots when they grow, and then you can just feed them to your tank. Kind of dose it every once in a while.
Yeah, this tank has exploded with pods a lot. Like, once I add in corals, pods start to diminish, and then right when the algae starts coming back on the glass, they'll just pop up everywhere.
That's great.
So, like, at night, the glass would be covered. So, it's pretty good. And then there's amphipods everywhere, too.
No, that's always a good sign. Keep your fish nice and happy.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting a Harlequin shrimp pair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Nice.
gonna be cool.
Yeah, excellent. Did you see the Harlequin shrimp that I have in the tank right now?
Yeah, I just saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, throw it back on.
Yeah.
I bored them off a local lady for a few weeks to clean up all that Strina stars in my tank, so kind of stoked for him. He's a very cool looking little guy.
Yeah, so basically, well, I have a friend who works at Easy Reach. His name's George Cotlin, and he was telling me how to make them.
Oh, I know, George.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was telling. Yeah, so he was telling me how to teach the Harlequin shrimp to eat mysis. Or sorry, not mysis, mastic. So basically, he said, you know the Asterina stars. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll take the Asterina stars and you'll put mastic, like you'll put them with the mastic,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll go for the stars, but then they'll have to start digging through mastic
To
when
get
they
to the
go,
star.
and they they get a little bit of mastic. They start eventually they'll get onto it. He said it doesn't take too long, so I'll try it out.
Really? Let us know how it
Get
goes.
them onto some mastic.
That'd be actually really interesting if you get
Yeah.
him on a different diet.
You're gonna start making like little.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pre-film it, and then if it works out, then I'll make like a video on it, like, oh, teaching you how to train your Harlequin shrimp on to mastic. But yeah.
That would definitely be interesting to see.
Yeah, I would like to see that
There's some
too.
cool looking shrimp.
Little mastic sandwiches for them. Everyone needs a mastic bigger.
I wonder if you could buy little starfish-shaped molds.
That'd be funny. And they'll just go and
Yeah.
get them. Oh look.
That would be
There's my
funny.
food.
You need to do that aquarium, right? And then
You
send
should.
it to George. He'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah. One thing that made me
Yeah,
laugh
that'd
is
be really cool.
the little starfish. They know that little assassin's in there because there's tons of them all around the top rim of my glass, like they're up there trying to hide now.
Escaping.
They are. They know he's coming. Holy smokes! Sean was saying a Harlequin shrimp worth over here in Australia, they're about $1,200 a pair. Wow! I think they're about $30 here for one. Whew.
Yeah, they're about $30. Yeah, here for one
I-
because I'm getting a pair for 56. Captive bred pair.
That's crazy. Hey, 5280.
I can't remember. Are they Caribbean or are they Pacific?
They're Pacific. And they're from they're near Indonesia.
Huh. It's
pretty
surprising
sure.
there's so much in Australia.
Yeah, that's crazy. Although some things are like blows my mind. Like some things are
Like
so
the cleaner
cheap,
shrimp.
and other things are crazy. Yeah, they're like
the cleaner
$100. Mhm.
Yeah, they're like a good $150 for like a cleaner shrimp, and here they're like $25.
Yeah, it blows my mind. But then they have stuff like the completely mind blanking.
I was going to say the acro colonies and scolies and everything else, and I've heard a couple guys say how cheap that stuff is or seen it.
Yeah, acans. They have a whole colony for what we pay for like one head, so it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you got the Hawaiian Harlequins who have the magenta, purple, pinkish color instead of the blue,
Mm-hmm.
like the pale blue. What's really cool is that like the Harlequins that come from Hawaii are so much more colorful.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that you regularly get, they're pretty diminished pale blue, pale sky blue color, or
Mhm.
pale pinkish color. But then when you buy them captive bred, they're the same exact price, but the blue is just so much more deep and rich. I'll send a picture to you guys.
All right,
Let's
sounds good.
see.
Cleaner shrimp, $150. Wow, that's crazy. It's amazing the
Oh wait, I
difference in some
can't
different
send
areas.
anything. Is this like a private call?
If there's you can put a link in the
Because-
chat.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
If you have a link, you can do that, and I could just drag it over.
Can I jump
Yeah,
in
this
here? I
is
got a newbie question for you guys.
Ask away, Tim.
So, I got a beautiful, just absolutely gorgeous Picasso ORA clown just yesterday, and he seems healthy. He's got no problems with him. He's got a fat belly, but he will not eat, and he spends all day looking at his reflection. And I've tried feeding him 4 or 5 times now with all kinds of different foods. And I look online and they say that this is normal. In fact, I'm looking at him right now. He just pooped, so he's definitely got something in his belly.
Mhm.
But
You just
everybody
got him
online is
yesterday?
saying-
Yeah, so
everybody's saying this is totally normal. Give it like a couple of weeks. My question is,
Mhm.
how do I not freak out? Like, I'm watching this guy. He looks
Yeah.
so lonely. How do I not feel bad about this scenario? You know?
So most
I mean, they'll get used
Yeah.
to the tank.
most new fish,
Like,
it will be a few days before they'll eat. Usually until they get comfortable in their environment, like he sounds like he's out in the open, but most of the time fish will hide for the first day or two until they get comfortable in the tank, and then they'll start to come out and eat more. Do you have other fish in the
Yeah,
tank or
like,
just him?
Just him.
Okay. Yeah, so another thing, if you have a second fish sometimes too, they'll see the other fish eating, and that will kind of trigger them to go eat. But within a couple days, I bet he'll start eating.
What kind of fish is this?
It is an ORA Percula Picasso. Clown.
How big's the system,
Yeah.
Tim?
10 gallon.
10 gallon. You just got the one fish in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like Dev said, I'd probably put some other fish in there, even if they're just like, temporary fish. Is it a new setup?
Yeah. It's coming up on 1 month pretty soon here.
How did you cycle it? Did you use bacteria dosing or did you use
the
just
Red Sea
natural
program.
cycle?
The Red Sea program is amazing. Like I'm totally new to this hobby, so let me sing the praises of the Red Sea program. Like it makes all these crazy claims, and I'm like a super skeptical guy. I'm not going to believe any of these claims. I'm just doing it because they sound like they know what they're doing, so it's going to get me on the right track at least. But every single one of their claims were right. Like my ammonia was down to 0 in the first week. I did not add. It told me to start adding a cleanup crew before there was even any algae, so I didn't do that. But it says on day 21 you can start throwing SPS in here, and I'm like, "Fuck you! That's just garbage."
Now, on that note, actually, you could add coral before you can add fish. It's the fish and the live stuff that care about the ammonia and the nitrates and all that. The coral, as long as everything's not crazy, they don't care about a little bit. So you can actually add coral right now if you wanted, and you'd be okay.
Yeah, like softies.
I actually got
softies
some
will-
great deals on the all the various live sales that were going on a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
So I've got 2 Monties in here that are loving life. They've got their polyps fully extended, and there's a bird's nest in here, and 3 different types of LPS in here that all seem pretty happy and healthy. So I'm really impressed with the Red Sea program, just in terms of it getting that cycle done.
Nice.
You know what's really funny is that this is how Billy explains a leather. Billy Pipes goes, "You can raise one in a toilet bowl, so then you can probably put in a leather whenever you want to. Just do it."
Yeah.
Hey Tim, I don't know if you can see my camera. I just put my tank on in my office. I set this one up, so it's about the same age as your tank. So I think I'm on week 4 now.
Do you have the Ghost Cardinals in?
No, I didn't. Not yet. But I still got the original 5 fish. On day 1, I put 5 fish in here. So I brought a single clown, and he was doing the same as yours, just like swimming around against the glass first day.
Oh yeah.
And then I could put 4 lemon chromis in.
Mhm.
And then you can see I've got Zoas, Montipora, Hammers, and some SPS.
Mm-hmm.
So the SPS has been in about 2 weeks, about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So I put those in about 3 weeks in, 2.5 to 3 weeks in.
Hey Dave, could I quickly grab a wrench so I can put the link in the chat for the Harlequin stream?
Do you want to drop it in the Hangouts and I'll screen share it?
I don't know, because like when it says that I'm in the call, obviously, but then there's nothing for me to put in the Hangouts chat. There's like no chat. I don't know why. Like,
did you just get a pop-up?
I'm going.
Right.
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, drop it in there and I'll screen share it.
So I
And it
thought
won't let me
my
go in.
clown here was pooping, but it's sticking to him. It's like a string.
Yeah, no, that's poop.
Does he have a worm or something?
That's fish poop.
It's supposed to stick to him like that?
It will come off eventually. Sometimes it likes to go for a joyride with him.
My Blenny likes to, the Blenny that I have likes to make long strings of poop, and it's really funny just watching him drag it all along the tank. Why won't it let me It won't let me talk.
My first inclination when I saw him and the way he's reacting here, where he's just like looking at his reflection all the time in the glass, was to immediately run out and go grab another fish in here for him. But I'm worried about my ammonia cycle. You know, I don't want to throw a whole bunch of fish into this young, tiny tank. So my fallback plan to doing that is to give him company otherwise. So I put my iPad up to the tank, playing a 2-hour-long loop of other clownfish playing their enemies and stuff like that, and he paid it zero attention this afternoon.
Nice.
That didn't work.
Yeah, no, they will look at the refraction. Usually that's a sign of stress. I think he's just getting used to and adapting to your tank. It's usually,
So it's not,
these are normal the first couple days until they get used to it. So
Alright.
give it a couple days, and if he's still nutty in a couple days, then maybe worry a bit more, but for now I wouldn't worry about it too much.
all right, deep breaths.
Yeah, deep breaths.
It won't let me.
That's a fancy mixer board in the background.
Right here.
Yeah.
These are a couple of synthesizers.
Ah, very nice. I've been looking at mixers lately, so I've been on the hunt.
It still
Are
won't
you
let me talk.
mixing a lot of outboard stuff, or are you just trying to get input into your computer?
A bit of a mix, just so I can mix other people's audio back in. I'd like to have little dials, so it's easier to adjust like the PC audio and a couple different mics or sources. And I got an XLR mic, but I'm just using it with USB right now, so on my to-do list.
Yeah, you sound good. You definitely sound like you're on an XLR.
Not bad for USB for a cheaper mic. All right, so back.
I am a complete novice to all of this. If you have any questions about audio engineering, you can ask me.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, Tim. I'm slowly learning as I start to do more live streams and looking at doing podcasts and a few different things. So I've been digging more and more into the audio realm lately. So expanding my video. So for you guys, question, what is the loudest piece of equipment on your tanks? Like, what's the one thing that you hear when you walk up to your tank?
My return pump.
A return pump? Yeah. Do you have an AC or a DC
Yeah, I want
one?
to get a CQ. It's a DC. It's the Innovative Marine pump that comes with it. It's a DC pump.
No, that one's AC. I used
It's
to.
so annoying.
Yeah, no,
It's AC. Okay, but then
they're AC. I've had a couple of Innovative Marine tanks. Yeah, they weren't the quietest. I replaced them in all the IM tanks I had.
yeah, I want to get a C3 micro for it instead. So I might just get that.
I had the C-Ch or whatever you call it, the Synchro Silent one, and those are pretty good.
C3.
Yeah.
I posted a question in the chat if anybody's had to maintenance the dry side of MP40 motors. Are there any ceramic bearings are in there, or is that a sealed unit? I had never opened one up.
I believe it's sealed. I've never had to take mine apart, but as far as I know, it's sealed. I think under that rubber, there's probably screws to get to it, but it's been maintenance free, at least for me.
Okay, so the C3 Synchro Silent. Wait, what is it called?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got one of those. Like that was day one. I swapped out the IM thing because that is loud. But the CK is absolutely silent. Like, the only thing I hear on this tank is occasionally if the water in the reservoir gets low, or if the ghost skimmer is on. That thing is the loudest thing.
Oh, yeah. When I used to have the
So
ghost.
you have an IM tank?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a IM10.
Oh, so I have the same tank as you do.
Nice.
I have a few things in my tank that make a little noise. The reflow hammerhead, of course, has a little bit of noise to it, which if everything's off on the first floor, you could hear it ever so slightly. But actually, the one that makes probably the most noise for me is my booster pump on my RODI unit. I could feel it. I could hear the low level sound that it makes vibrate through the house when it's on.
Nice. I don't know if it's worth it, but you might be able to put those little rubber kind of feet on it, make a big difference.
It actually has them on there, and it doesn't really move a whole lot. It's just, I think it's just the vibration going through the water lines and stuff it's attached to. It just puts just a real low level in there, but
At least
only
you,
hear it if it's on.
yeah.
So.
At least you know it's working.
Other than that, I just hear the water falling into my sump and it drowns everything else out.
Mm-hmm. I was laughing in the chat. Business Reef Tank saying his MP40s are quieter than his MP10s. Before I bought mine, I borrowed somebody else's that had a regular one just to see if the quiet drive is worth it. And if you are going to buy one, it's 100% worth it. They're much quieter. Yeah, Dave.
Wait, so Tim, what type of pump was the extra pump that you got for your tank?
It was the Secra Silent, or the Siche.
The Siche.
Let me try to remember how to pronounce the Italian here. It's the Siche Syncra Silent 0.5 or something like that.
5.0.
No, it's like
5.0.
0.5 or 1.0 or something. You need the tiny one for that tank.
It's one of those. Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a couple that says like 0.5, 5.5. I don't know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to go
Because
find
there's
the
one
box.
that's 1. There's one that says CG Synchro Silent 1.
You know what, let me go find the box and I'll tell you exactly which one I got.
Point.
The pumps as well. Activist.
Hmm?
The Seaches has pumps. Yeah, good pumps.
Yeah. They.
Yep.
The eShops uses the CG with the Venturi for all their skimmers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was running a 2.5 or a 3.5 on a 60 cube, and you couldn't even hear it.
Mm-hmm. Out of all the AC pumps, those are probably one of the quieter ones that I've seen.
Should I put a skimmer on the 10? Because I'm planning on doing all in-back refugium. Like I'm gonna have ulva growing, and those things love high nutrients. And I guess I'll just go crazy with feeding. I guess.
If you're doing more of a softy tank, you can probably get away without it. Even on honestly, you don't need a skimmer on a small tank. Especially on a 10-gallon.
People say sometimes it's useless, but because I don't know whether, because I have an extra skimmer just kind of there, and I just kind of I don't know if I want to put it on the 10-gallon or not. So I was just asking you guys because I have the eShops now.
So
I ran a 15 for years without any kind of skimmer on there.
Yeah, because I don't have a skimmer on it right now.
It did really well. I even bumped it up to my I had a 32 cube without a skimmer, and then when I went to a 60 with a clam tank, that one had a skimmer, but it only ran like 12 hours a day. It shut off at night.
Because I don't know, because I have everything. It's more LPS. I think I have 2 SPS corals in there, and it's just a Monty Setosa and a Mystic Monty.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be that big of a deal, I think.
No, honestly,
I've never had it on it right now.
Yeah. As long as you do regular water changes, you don't need a skimmer. Like, all a skimmer is going to do is reduce the need for water changes, right? And on a small tank, it's so cheap and easy to do water changes. I would just, do your 5 gallon or a couple gallons a week. Your tank will be more than happy. You won't have to worry about dosing. Everything should be fine with just doing that.
Okay, because even with such a small tank, I've had these, would these corals swing the parameters that much? Because, I haven't seen a swing in anything yet. No swing, nothing dipping down, nothing coming up. I've been out of town for a while, so I'm going to do a water change this week. So, does that make sense to you? Because I only have 1 or 2 SPS corals in it, and those are small, 1-inch pieces of Monty.
Mm-hmm.
Except for my Setosa, that's 3 inches. But then, they've all been growing really quickly, but then would that matter? Because my alk and my calcium haven't moved at all. You're staying really consistent.
I want to jump in on this because there's a lot of people that say you don't need it for a nano. Okay, and let me throw it out here. I'm a total noob. This is my 3rd or 4th week in on this. Okay, but this skimmer, despite how much noise it produces, it also produces this nasty gunk, and that nasty gunk is not in my tanks. That makes it worthwhile to me.
But that nasty gunk I feel that would be because I'm also planning on putting maybe a mangrove or two in the back of the tank, and that also filters out extra salt water that's not required. So the
According to
mangrove,
Jimmy and Sprung, you need like 50 of those
Yeah,
before it even starts to.
it's really for looks if you have one.
The only
no,
thing for
no,
me
but
as well.
in the small tank. So
Mhm.
basically, um, so you have this mangrove, right? And so basically when it starts to grow,
Mhm.
it if you put it in salt water, it ends up um it will only take up salt. It will only absorb salt if it feels there's too much, and it's in the range of a normal like ocean, like a lagoon. So then it'll be around that 1.25, 1.27 range. So then if your salinity goes up anyway, then it'll end up going a little down just because of that.
I didn't know they absorb salt
And
like
then
that.
and then their leaves, that's just one thing. You don't want to let it deteriorate in the water. That's not good for your tank. That's one thing. And
No,
then you
take up a lot of stuff, not just nutrients.
Mhm.
yeah, and then they also suck up a ton of nutrients. So like you need to if you have it, you'll probably stay at zero nitrates because they suck it up so quickly. A lot of people say that if you put one in, then like you need to really like feed heavily or else it will die. Because I know this one guy who had a mangrove and then he didn't feed enough apparently, and then his mangrove just shrank away.
Yeah. Huh. Good to know. I've never actually had a
Hey,
mangrove, so.
activist, you know what I would probably recommend with your innovative marine tank?
Yeah. Okay. What?
Like you're thinking about using a skimmer because you want to feed more and you want to take it back out again, right? So it doesn't decompose.
Yes.
That's basically what you're trying to do, isn't it? So you can feed well, but not have the decomposition, right?
Mhm.
So on the innovative marine, they also do the desktop reactors that fits into your tank, right?
Mhm.
So what I would do is what I'm doing at the moment is I'm running a skimmer, but I'm running it low level. What I'd maybe do with yours, rather than run a skimmer, I'd get one of the desktop reactors and just put filter floss in there and use it as a mechanical um, filtration.
They also do have little like
You know what I
overflow
mean?
chambers that have these little square socks that go in there. If you didn't want to
Yeah,
use
but
the
they
reactor.
block really quick. That's
Yeah.
the thing; they block really quick. With the reactor, you can stuff it full of floss, and you'll get a lot more life out of it.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that's
Cool.
basically going to take out the food particles
Yeah.
in much the same way a skimmer will.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
And that's
then,
why you
so
have
if
the good stuff as well.
Just
if the oh, so wait, but if the skimmer or no, so if the stuff were to dissolve anyway, because that creates nutrients, wouldn't the mangrove and the ulva be able to take it out, or just like a skimmer would, except the skimmer would just kind of prevent it?
Your mangroves aren't very effective. They're not efficient enough.
Because I'm also gonna have ulva in there, like the sea lettuce, because that's really, really
yeah.
effective at removing nutrients.
If you have a good kind of like the ova, that one could definitely absorb quite a bit out.
mhm.
Um, I mean, that's one of the things I was like doing if I was running without a skimmer or a part-time skimmer, or even tanks with full-time skimmer. There's a lot of different varieties of macroalgae.
Mhm.
They do a really good job at exporting everything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that ulva is one of the best ones at exporting
Yeah,
good
Ulva's pretty
nutrients.
good. I tended to like some of the red macros. Trying to think of their names, like a Boxhoidal. I think that was one of them. There's Caribbean and Pacific varieties that are usually like a red grape macro.
Hey Alex,
Those grow really well.
have you noticed the difference between the green and the red algae?
So greens, I mean, a good chunk of the greens that I've had good luck with are Caulerpa, which you know it can become a bit of a problem over time.
Yeah, when it
It needs a
goes
lot of
sexual.
harvesting. You know, honestly, it going asexual, I've never had a problem with. When I had a clam tank going, it used to do it about every 2-3 weeks, and the clams loved it.
Hmm.
So if you got a tank that has animals that like it,
Then it
like a
wouldn't really
lot of
matter.
LPS, clams, softies, they're gonna love it.
Hmm.
SPS, I'm not sure how much they're gonna really care for it, but
I heard that
the red macros
SPS
I always
really hates
found
it.
grow really well.
Hmm.
Um, Browns were a little more difficult to get a hold of. At least ones that grow like sargassum grew pretty well, but it needs very strong lighting.
Hmm.
Um, I'm actually going to experiment a lot more with it now, but I don't know. I mean, I always tended to like the red a little bit more just because I found there were a lot of species that would kind of have qualities of like a caulerpa, but it would be more in like a, coming off a single strong point, it was a little easier to harvest. The ova, I tried it, but the problem is that unless it gets a natural anchor point or you're holding it,
Just
I mean
makes
the
a
stuff
mess.
just goes all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And the Chato always works. Chato always works well. I mean, that I've never had a problem with, but the fish don't tend to like it as much. And I like to, you know, I look at this, but every one of those different macroalgae is probably pulling a little something different out of the water too.
Hmm.
Yeah, because this one said that it loves.
So
It said because I was reading some articles about ova, and then also I'm gonna get it from Algae Barn. So then they have their aquaculture ova, and so I was reading their description, and they said that let me see. It said that it was theirs was like really good at like it was good at removing a lot of nutrients like phosphate and nitrates. So then I was like, well, because then in their Chato they said, well, it's good. And then I was just like, well, then why didn't they say that it was as good as like the uh, ova? And then it says, and then same with the gris. I can't pronounce it. Grisillaria.
Hmm.
There we go. It it said that it's more like a food for fish than it is uh,
For
for
pulling out.
removing nutrients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense.
Because this is
I've only ever used Chato in my tank, so I haven't really experimented too much with the other ones. I've had a few chunks just for like more decorative purposes, but not for actual nutrient removal.
yeah,
yeah,
because this
I don't know. We'll
Some of
see
them
when I
look
get
really
my
nice.
150 refuge. I want to
Hmm.
get like 20, 30 different kinds of macroalgae and try to get some of the more difficult ones to get going.
Well, you can make a
yeah, so
really
this
nice
is
display refugium too, having all those different ones, which could be kind of fun.
yeah. Than has a
Yeah.
display refugium
Hmm.
with all of his cool macroalgae. So this says sea lettuce is commonly found in shallow rocky reefs worldwide. This delicate green algae prefers bright lit waters with high nutrient levels. Thus, it can quickly reduce concentrations of dissolved nutrients such as nitrate and phosphate in the marine aquarium systems. It is regarded as one of the more nutritious macroalgae, and is readily accepted to most herbivorous fish and invertebrates.
Hmm. Tangs would be happy.
Yep.
Just a quick note, actually, Tim. Earlier, you're saying you have the Ghost Skimmer. I had that one before, the mid-size one in a 30-gallon tank, and it worked fairly well. I had to raise it up a little bit, so I don't know how the smaller version is. But I did find it was kind of loud though. So one thing I did on mine is I put on a timer, so it only ran like midnight to 7, 8 in the morning type of thing. So I kind of ran at halftime.
That is exactly what I am doing. I've got the
Yep.
Apex set to turn on when I go to bed and turn off when I wake up.
Yeah,
Because it's also still producing a lot of those micro bubbles, and I don't want those in the tank while the lights are on and the fish are floating around. Because I swear I read something about micro bubbles being bad for fish.
No.
No,
Well, sort of, not really.
you don't want big bubbles, but super tiny ones aren't going to harm them.
Micro bubbles are actually pretty good because it kind of makes your tank like an in-tank skimmer. We had this one moment in time where we were all obsessed with the wooden air stern microscopic scrubbing
Yeah, I've
bubbling.
seen some of that stuff. Yeah.
So basically, we were just raving about how good this is. So basically, what you would do is you take a wooden air stone.
Right. No, I get you. I understand that the appeal, and some people swear by it, like Rico's loving it and all that. But I guess I'm getting free micro bubbles. It looks like shit in the tank, so I don't want it when the lights are on because it looks just super weird.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's usually a way to fix micro bubbles. I've never owned this ghost
Yeah,
skimmer.
that's one of the challenges sometimes, especially with small skimmers, because then you could use something like a filter sponge or even like a little piece of a filter sock, but then
That
that
gets
could
plugged.
become a nitrate factory if it's not cleaned out on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
I've tried a few of those
So
things
yeah,
exactly like that. Like I've got an intake side thing where I've got the filter floss in there.
Mhm.
I decided to cut off some of that, put it over in the output so that it's dripping on top of that, and that was supposed to reduce it, and it did reduce it, but it didn't eliminate it. And then I forgot all about that, and then like a week later, I noticed, hey, what's this brown thing back here? That
Yeah.
definitely became a nitrate
yeah, that's
source.
I would just stick to running it at night, honestly. Like, just keep it quiet in the daytime, no bubbles. When you're sleeping, you don't care. You can pull out all that extra scum. So,
I'm really very happy with
yeah, it'll help. It'll
like
probably help raise your
didn't have
pH up a little bit at night too.
mhm.
what was that?
So
It can help to
basically,
raise the pH in the tank at night when you're with the skimmer running.
carbon
Does it?
dioxide
Let me
builds
check
up.
my
You're
pH.
not running it during the day.
Yeah, so when your lights are on in the daytime, the lights in photosynthesis is going to raise your pH. When there's no lights on, usually if people run reverse light cycle for their algae, their chaeto, but even your skimmer is going to put more oxygen into the water, which will help drive out the CO2 and bump up your pH a little more.
You're right. It does
Yep.
bump up. Like I never noticed that, but at night it's going up from it's going up about 0.1 or 0.2.
Yeah, see, it all helps.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hey Tim, when you set up your tank, did you use live rock or dry rock?
I used the Reef Cleaners fossil rock, the stuff they mine up.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like
One-
Reef Cleaners Rock. He's got some nice stuff over there.
I'm so happy with this rock. Like it looks gorgeous. Like I don't like the look of Tonga, or not Tonga, the Pukani that's so popular. Like I don't dig it. And like that's what my local guy was trying to sell me on. I didn't want any of that, so I ordered the Reef Cleaners. I'm so happy with it.
Nice.
Yeah, I did a little Pukani and I did a lot of branch and a little shelf. And the Pukani, I mean, the big thing you gotta really give it a cure time in a garbage can, and acid bath is a good idea too, because it was so horribly smelling when I threw it in a garbage can full of water for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I couldn't even go out in my garage. It was so bad.
I went with
Yeah, I got a
Marco
lot
Premium
of
Key Largo Rock, and that stuff was pristine, clean, didn't have to do anything. It was great.
You're a man of my own project.
Yep.
I decided I wanted to put in stuff the first day, so then I just.
You know,
used the
I
live
almost
rock.
went with Marco and got like a pallet of it, but I ended up getting a bunch of reef cleaners, and then my local guy had such nice stuff, I just couldn't pass it up
Nice.
to be able to pick out what I wanted. So, and it was big stuff, which most people don't carry.
Yep.
Did you guys know that apparently rocks are becoming more expensive when they come from Tonga?
I've never bought Tonga.
Because my LFS is telling me that like a lot of like nowadays the Tongan rocks are really expensive, like the branching Tongan rocks, because apparently there's something going on right now, and so now a lot of the rocks coming from there are either really expensive or they're not shipped anymore.
Yeah, that happens a lot as, countries change their rules. Things can get more expensive to ship, or they might not be allowed to collect it, or the collection gets limited, or maybe the supply they had just ran out. I know one that was real popular for a while in like the early 2000s, late 90s. The Haitian live rock came out real
The blue
big for
line
a while.
stuff?
So,
Is that the blue line
but
stuff, Alex?
the problem with that Haitian rock though was it all came from a field after a hurricane went through, and once the supply was gone, the rock was gone.
Yeah. That's the problem if it's only one specific area. But
So is Marco's rock the same sort of fossilized mine stuff?
yeah, I believe they mine it like dried up seabed areas, so it's not actually pulled out of the ocean. It's just used to be ocean, from my understanding.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's right on the keys. He's mining, and then the reef cleaners, he's getting it out of a quarry too.
Yeah, it looks exactly like
I
the stuff
know.
I've got in the tank right now.
Yeah.
I was really happy. Like
Yeah,
I did a video showing me chiseling this stuff. Like I didn't know how to chisel, but I figured it out on this, and it was easy to like just kind of piece together my own rockscape. So
Mhm.
happy with the rock.
No, that's awesome. Good choice. It sounds very similar to the stuff that I have. Hey, so out of curiosity, Tim, do you have a... Can you flip your webcam and show us your tank? Is it in the same room as you, or is it somewhere else?
It's actually right next to me.
I saw a bit of a blue glow on the side of your face, so I figured it was there.
Hold on, let me make me big so I can see what you're seeing. All right.
Nice, looking good.
Nope, that is not coming into focus.
Nope. There we go. Starting to focus. Nice. How do you like the little innovative marine tank?
I'm liking it very much
Mhm.
because it sits right here on my desk, or right next to my desk.
Nice.
So it's a nice, like this is the exact size I needed because I want it to be something that's right here. I live and work and play right here,
Hmm.
so I wanted something that was right here with me, and this fits the dimensions of what I've got to work with perfectly, and I'm super happy with it.
Excellent. Very nice.
Yeah, mine sits right on my desk too.
And
Mhm.
see my happy little Monty's pulp extended.
Nice.
I'm
Yeah,
so
mine can't.
happy with those.
Oh, guys, I got to drop off. My wife's getting home, so
Sounds good. See you later,
Yeah,
Alex.
same here. I
thanks for
gotta
having
jump
me
off
on,
too.
man. I will talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thanks for
Take
joining.
care, Alex.
Cheers.
I'll jump back on if I have time. So, but I have to go too. So see you guys.
Okay, see you later. Yeah, it's
Okay,
like
today.
Rico's saying, if you guys are enjoying this, hit that thumbs up button. 51840 breeder. Dev, just watched all your videos. You still have the 30L. No, I don't anymore. I sold that one after I upgraded to my current custom tank. But that was a fun tank. I actually did really like that one. And if I was in a smaller place or smaller area, I'd probably get that tank again. It gave you a nice dimension because it was still 3 feet long. It was more narrow for escaping. It was a bit challenging, but it was a great tank overall. I'm actually going to see if I can dig up a photo of it because I did really like that tank. Half my escape now is from that tank.
Hey, Dad, you could get Steve from Innovative Marine on the stream sometime, you know.
Sure, let's do it. I will commission you to help me arrange that.
I'll see how busy he is. He's really busy normally, but Steve or Paul would come on.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I've owned 3 different innovative marine tanks now, so that could actually be interesting.
Did you have a look at the new? They launched a range of specialist tanks, right? The Peninsula and the
Mhm.
Abyss and those ones.
Yeah, no,
I don't
they
know how well they sold over there, but
yeah, I've seen quite a few. Honestly, if I was to recommend someone getting a Nano, I would probably recommend the IM tanks. Especially their new ones, like their low iron glass. They're nice and clean. Your built-in sump. Like it just keeps everything very clean
yeah.
looking. Like I don't know. I think they're great little tanks. I
they're
was
really good. But I was good because we couldn't get those in the UK.
no, really, eh?
Yeah, we had the Fusion 20s and 40s and the 10s and all of that stuff because we used to be the UK distributor.
Mm-hmm.
But when they brought those ones out, it was just the tank, right?
Yep.
And yeah, we couldn't get them. I think were they called the Black Line or something like that?
They've had a few different ones. Here. Oh, that was easy. I just Google imaged Fusion 30L, mine came up. So there is one version of it, not the clearest photo, but so that was one point where half all these rock structures are now the right half of my current tank. And I had a really good side photo if I can find it, but it's handy how it comes up in Google Images. But yeah, I know it was a great little tank. Hey, I have a quick random question for you guys. There's a company that does reefing t-shirts. I've been working with them to come up with a design that was kind of like both our logos on it. So this is the current one. You kind of took the mandarin that I had on my intro channel video. So this is kind of the design that came up so far. So I'm debating going with it. Let me know if you guys have any feedback on it. Just trying to get some kind of funky reefing related shirt for fun. The Red 5280 Red Sea Nano is better since it has the sump. A separate sump or all in one sump? I believe the Red Seas are like their own tank with a physical sump underneath. Kind of depends what you're going for. If you're going for a larger tank, I'd say Red Sea. But if you're sticking to a nano, like a desktop or something, then it's kind of nice to have that chamber sump all in the back, because then you don't really have to worry about special stands and stuff. I think it depends where it's going, personally. But for a desktop or a nano, I think it's great to have that little chamber in the back. Everything's contained. Don't have to worry about bulkheads or leaks or any of that type of jazz. So, but yeah, if it's a bigger tank and you're gonna have skimmers and stuff, then yeah, definitely having that bigger sump helps if you're gonna run reactors and all that other jazz. John likes cool shirt. Excellent, excellent. It's not actually out yet. I'm supposed to confirm the design for sure. We've been back and forth tweaking it the last little bit, so I think it'll be kind of fun. Then I can wear some kind of a reefing related shirt in videos instead of just my random whatever ones. Yeah, so it should be fun. So 5280. So actually, other question from earlier. So what else do you guys have in your tank? That's when you look at your tank, what's the one thing you hear that drives you nuts that you like quieter? For me, the loudest thing now is the skimmer intake. And that's with the silencer. It's pretty darn quiet, but that's the loudest thing I hear at the current moment. If I had to choose between a Nevo 40 and a Red Sea 170, which is the same, I'd go with the Red Sea. Alright, I'm going to look up those two tanks now. I'm curious. I guess the other question, too, is which one's a better deal? Like, is there... I know Red Sea tanks are very nice, but they're also not cheap. At least the bigger ones I was looking for. The Red Sea Max and the Peninsulas, those babies are like a couple grand. But yeah, if it's on, so 5280, if it's on its own stand and you have the space for something, definitely. But if it's going on like an office or a desk or something, then I think on the tank. So it's a trade-off. Realistically, if Red Sea had the Peninsula tanks 2 years ago when I bought my tank, I probably would have went with one, but they didn't. That's why I ended up going the custom route. I did help one buddy last week migrate his little 26 gallon biocube into a Red Sea. I think it was a 60 gallon. So I shot a few clips of that, and I'm going to go back over and film it again once the water's all cleared up and probably do a little video on that. But yeah, they're definitely pretty slick looking tanks. Wife is the loudest thing in the room. Nice. Hopefully she's not on the stream. ATI cooling fans are so loud. Oh, speaking of cooling fans, on the what was it? The Refugium light that I used to have, that fan was super loud on it. That was the 90 watt Evergrow light. I took it out, put in a quiet PC fan, night and day the difference. Huge. So just replacing that fan was like jet engine to peaceful. Basically 220. Nias. Yeah, so how are the Nias? He says that it's pretty silent. I've heard good things about them. Suppose their pumps are super silent. So, as some of you probably know, Ecotech works with, or they sell the Nias skimmer. So I'm really curious to see what happens with their new S1 and if that's going to work its way into the skimmers. I'm sure it will at some point. The other thing I'm kind of curious too, if eventually when they come up with like the needle wheel skimmer version, if it's worth trying to retrofit into mine. I don't know. Might be fun to play with. Could be a future project. Be kind of neat if you could play with your skimmer and fine tune it to like 1% of power and lots of stuff. You get tons of controllability out of it. Even probably DIY a cool skimmer. $300 difference in the Red Sea. So I'm assuming there's $300 more for the Red Sea, but the Red Sea also has a stand, right? A stand and a sump. So I guess it's kind of justified for the price. 200. Okay. Yeah, so it kind of makes sense. What time is it? Alright guys, so it's 4 o'clock and I'm supposed to already be somewhere else, so I'm probably going to shut her down in a few minutes. A little bit of a shorter stream today. Really like these shows. Going to bed now. No problem. Thanks for hopping on, Matt. Huge glass jar, Chaeto, airstone, sunlight pods equals victory. Add in some phytoplankton to feed the pods, and you'll be good. You can probably use fish food and other stuff. I feed mine phytoplankton, but that's pretty much your success strategy right there to get you going. Your Mandarin or your Dragonette, go be the Red Scooter, I think it was. He'll definitely appreciate it. How are the Radeon 15s? XR 15s? I love them. I think they're great lights. I bought them for my previous tank for 2 of them when I had the Innovative Marine 30 gallon. So I had 2 of those originally, and when I upgraded to my big tank, I just picked up 2 more used ones and then put them on my tank. So now I got 4 on there, and it's great. So they're kind of good ones that can grow with you. Reefroids. I haven't tried feeding Reefroids to pods. I would imagine you probably could. But yeah, you'll have to try it. You might. The only thing with that you might want to is watch out it doesn't pollute your water too much. Hey Ed. So with that, I know phytoplankton, you don't really have to worry about polluting your water too much. So something else to consider. Quick question. So NATO. See you next time. Wanted to ask how the ozone has been going for you. Mine's sitting around 420 or still. So ozone's going really well. I have slowly turned it down a little bit each night. So it's probably only running at 15 to 20 milligrams, I'm guessing now. So I keep tweaking it here. I'll give you a quick preview before we shut her down. Let's let me load up my Fusion. And you're most welcome, Matt. Thanks for hopping on. So while I figure out my Fusion password again, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Keeps the YouTube gods happy. Kyle, any single online source you recommend for new to the hobby? Like what species go well together, what corals do well in conditions and such? We are actually working on building a website that's going to have all that information on it right now, so I will get back to you on that. And I know you are a local guy, so I will show you some good sources later. Now, on the Fusion note, the one thing that I found was kind of funky is kind of one of my suspicions where every day the ORP is slowly getting a little bit higher. So if we look way back in the beginning, here, I'm just going to shrink this down a bit more. So when you looked out, like here was my ORP a week ago was around like 240, and it's up to 290, that's 286. The next day the low is 296, 292, and it's going up a little bit higher, but slowly raising it over time. And you can also see when I first started ozone how I've been slowly tweaking it, so you can see it builds up slowly and then it drops off. At the top it was kind of pinging on and off because the apex was set to turn off the ozone when it hit 350. Now I've been slowly tweaking it. So you look current days where it's more of a gradual climb. So I really think ozone is great, but I also think too much is bad. So I've been really trying to ease it in to find that just enough value. So right here you can see it very slow arc upwards and then it drops off. So I'm trying to avoid it pinging on and off, on and off, on and off. That's the big thing I've been doing. It's still doing a little bit here, but my orb's also getting higher. So every day I've been slowly turning it down a little bit, just trying to find that magic sweet spot. But yeah, so far it's so good. The water's nice and clear. I did check my tank with a par meter before and after, so it has increased my par. It's probably gained up, I would say, probably anywhere from 20 to 40 par, somewhere in that range. It was jumping around a bit, so you're getting more output from your lights. This also helps get rid of that oceany smell that you can get from the tank. So if you run carbon, it's not bad, but every once in a while you notice it. So that's kind of killing that. So that's been doing really well. Shootsman, what's going on, man? So Eddie, Weirbox was making crazy loud noise today. Figured out my gate valve needs to be closed a bit. Yep, same thing. If you have a gate valve, just tune it until you just gets rid of the noise. That's how I've always ran mine and help keep it quiet. Run some carbon in a reactor that'll help get rid of the water even more clear and last longer. Yep, no, I have carbon in a reactor as well. Before I only changed it every probably 4 or 5 weeks, and now I'm guessing I'll be able to go longer without changing it, but we'll see. So I'm going to shut her down pretty quick. Any quick last questions out there? Alright guys, thanks everybody who's jumping on tonight. Next week will be a longer one. I was supposed to be out kayaking and fishing and barbecuing as of an hour ago, but didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So thanks everyone for jumping on today, and I will see you guys actually Monday for the next video update, or next Wednesday on the live stream. Alright guys, have a great night.
Take it easy, Dad.
Okay, see you guys later.